Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Wilhelm Scream, and welcome back to another day in Destiny 2 for some more Destiny 2 news and Solstice of Heroes / Season of Arrivals intel. And oh boy, it has been quite the 24 hours for me. I spent way too much time grinding out my armor for Solstice. Really did. I'm completely tired, exhausted, as a matter of fact. I didn't sleep at all because I know many of you are here to hear about some glitch, some way that's going to just magically give you all the Solstice armor you want instantly, immediately, spontaneously. Who knows? You're all here for that glitch. And I'm going to tell you, I don't know if I have it for you. But I do have something. And, well, in some cases, though there are unconfirmed reports of this, and a clear method I have not truly heard described, there is a way to immediately upgrade all your Solstice gear. I'm going to get to all the information regarding that glitch, as well as just a run-through of things that you might want to know if you are farming out a particular character, because maybe you can't get the glitch I'm going to mention to work, or you're just on your first character, or you just want to go through the process. Maybe it's the first time you've played Solstice of Heroes. I'll give you some tips that I've occurred over the years. I think this is my third Solstice of Heroes, as well as some stuff that I think is a little bit newer in this current iteration of Solstice that you might want to keep in mind. Some good tricks, some cheeses, and of course we will talk about a pretty major glitch in just 1 second. But first, I just want to remind everybody I'm still doing the giveaway on my YouTube channel. The next one will be at 30,000 subscribers, and we're almost there, which is absolutely insane. I think we're only about 1,500 away or so. All you have to do to be entered into that giveaway is like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, turn on the notifications, the bell that's right next to the big red subscribe button, and follow me on Instagram or Twitter. They'll be linked in the description box down below. And as always, if you stick around till the end of the video, I'll do a secret hashtag, or sometimes I'll do a trivia question. You can leave the answer or the hashtag in the comment section to be entered into that giveaway a second time for this video. And remember, those secret hashtags, those trivia questions, they stack between all videos. So if you haven't done it on a previous piece of content on this channel, why not go back, check out another video, and of course, do it again. Alright, so where to start? Gonna give everybody a little bit warning. This is going to be quite the rant today. I got a lot of information to cover. I've sort of waited till I had some good knowledge to really share with you guys rather than sort of rush into something quick. So some of this you might have heard before. I'm guaranteeing you some of it you haven't. But anyways, let's start it off. So the Solstice of Heroes, obviously we get our new armor from the Solstice, which can be upgraded, will be upgraded, or be able to be upgraded for the next year or so. It's pretty good armor, I would say. But is it worth the grind? I don't know. I think it's up to you. For me, it was because I like bringing the information to you guys. So I'm, of course, going to do everything I can in this game. But for the casual player, I don't know if this is necessarily something you're going to want to do. Though I do think it is fun because it involves a lot of community building. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be going on, and a lot of people are going to be doing all these things sort of simultaneously. So you will get into a fairly good groove when it comes to just jumping into an activity and feeling like you can have some success at it, which I don't think is necessarily always the case with Destiny. The downsides are it is very long, and if you don't know how to establish really the best flow and points where you're really multitasking, which I can say is difficult even for someone who's played the game as long as I have. This can be just overwhelming. So I'm going to just take you through a couple of things that I'm going to leave in the description box. You can go and take a look at them. These are sort of just tips that you can use for every class that you might be upgrading over the course of the next month. And then I'll add a little bit of my personal experience as far as this last Solstice, what I did. And I was playing primarily on a Warlock, which I would actually suggest. Either a Hunter or a Warlock, but I think Warlock is probably the easiest to upgrade first. And we'll get to why upgrading one first over the other is sort of important a little later on. But first, let's just look at what it takes to upgrade the Warlock. So, what you're seeing in the screen in front of you, I will again leave in the description box. This is just a basic little tip and overview of everything that you're going to need to do for the Blue Renewed, Majestic, and Magnificent armor sets. So, for the Warlock, and again I'm taking you through this because this is what I did first, and I'll give a few little extra tips that I might not find mentioned. The first thing you have to do for Gambit or Crucible is defeat 25 Guardians. I did Gambit for this, and I actually found that I got quite a few Guardian kills in Gambit just by doing invading or killing the invaders. So if you're not a Crucible guy, Gambit is an option. Though I will suggest that there is, I can't remember the name of the Crucible playlist that's available this week. I think it's Momentum. But it offers a one-shot kill. So if you're looking to just sort of farm out a few in a couple of games, that might be your best option. I was actually able to just do Gambit because I thought that sort of created a better synergy with what everything else I was trying to do at the time. So, and again, I was able to get most of those kills done in Gambit. And then I just kind of jumped into a control match and finished them off. Complete 5 matches of Gambit. And another thing about this is you're going to want to do these in actual Gambit, not Gambit Prime. Gambit Prime does count for the matches, but it does not count for the orbs. That's a big thing. That was something we kind of learned as we were going through. Everybody jumped into Gambit Prime because Gambit Prime are faster. Like, the matches actually end in a much shorter time frame. So a lot of people just want to get through it. But I would suggest at least doing a few games of actual Gambit first so you can collect those orbs and double it up. So then you should be fairly good as far as Guardian kills. You might want to do, again, one more Crucible match. But, again, complete Gambit matches. Don't do Gambit Prime unless you get all your orbs, and then you can jump into Gambit Prime and just finish it off. For strikes, you have to complete 5 playlist strikes. I would suggest doing this with some friends. And you have to collect 100 arc orbs. The reason I would suggest doing this with some friends is because a lot of the strikes you can actually just load into the strike and then just roam around in the open areas and jump into some lost sectors and just farm orb kills that way. And if everybody's using solar, well, that makes it a lot easier, although I'm sure at this point everybody is going to be kind of, if they're different classes working on different things. I think the Titans are orc and are arc, and I think the Hunters might be solar for this step, but I can't be sure. It might be void. But in any case, just having 3 people, you can just roam around the map, kill enemies, jump into some lost sectors, like I said. You don't have to actually rush through the strike, though you'll have to complete it eventually, but this allows you sort of a better way of doubling up on orbs to strike completions. Patrols, you have to complete 5 public events. You have to complete 5 adventures. The adventures are sort of an issue because I know a lot of people don't necessarily have all the adventures left, but you can do the heroic flashpoint adventure over and over again. And if you're in a group, usually you'll have at least a few people that have adventures available somewhere. There was a few we did on Mars, I believe. But whatever the weekly flashpoint is, just do the heroic over and over again if you need to. And for the public events, I would just do normal public events, and you can, of course, always do the double stacking public events, which is essentially if you find a public event that's fairly localized to a place on a map where you have a warp in point, you can complete the public event and then just reload into the same loading zone, and you'll get the same public event on a different server, and you can double complete sometimes that way. Another option, though, is you can do the control public events, and that'll come in more handy a little bit later on when you have to do heroic public events. But the control public events do count for public events. Escalation Protocol on Mars does not, so don't get smart and think you can go do that one. Even though it says public event joined, it's not. But the control ones, they do work. European Aerial Zone, complete one EAZ run. You're going to do that before you even get all the rest of your armor, because that's sort of a prerequisite to actually getting the rest of your armor. Open 10 Solstice packages. I would say wait a little while to do that. Make sure you have enough keys and everything. But once you're done, by the end of your blue set, meaning by the time you've finished everything else other than that, you should have at least a few hundred keys and at least 10 packages to open. I actually didn't have an issue with that. So just wait till the end on that one. Defeat 50 enemies in the EAZ. That's fairly easy. You're going to do that while you're doing probably one EAZ run. Defeat 50 enemies with a Void subclass. So again, just rock some Void, go in there. These are all going to be fairly easy. You might be able to complete them in 1 to 2, maybe 3 EAZ runs at most. And then all are just things that you can do anywhere. You don't have to do them in the patrol. They don't pertain specifically to European Aerial Zone, Patrol Strikes, or Gambit, or Crucible. So you have to get 50 precision final blows. You can do this also in the EAZ, but you'll also probably complete this during the time you're doing of these other activities. Defeat 100 Cabal. Cabal are loaded into the EAZ, but there's plenty of places on Earth or even on Mars in some ways that you can just get Cabal kills. Collect 400 Elemental Orbs. Again, you're going to do this probably while you're picking up strikes or in Gambit or any of those things. These are very passive. And defeat 50 enemies with your super. Again, I would suggest if you're on a Warlock using Well, because if you're using a Well, every kill you get with any weapon in the Well counts as a super kill. Or you could, for this, there's several sort of instant spawn enemy public area activities. You might want to go to Mars maybe and just do one of the tower events and just farm out some kills that way. Or you could load up a raid and do some kills that way. The Last Wish raid has a really great farm in it, and that's going to really play big later on. This is, of course, for Wish 4, which is actually this wish, and I'm just going to cue this up really quick. That is Wish 4. You spawn outside, I believe it's the Shirochi encounter, and you can, of course, spawn a raid banner, and this really comes in handy when we're going for the next level of completion, because you can get a lot of super kills there very, very quickly. So if you're going for that, just screen cap this. But let's move forward onto the Majestic or purple set. For Gambit or Crucible, you have to defeat 100 Guardians with solar weapons as a team. So it doesn't mean you have to be in a fire team. It just means that you have to be on a team. So if you load in by yourself solo into a Gambit or Crucible match, don't be fooled by that saying as a team. But I would suggest again, if you're not a really big Crucible guy, and of course you need to use solar weapons, I used a fusion rifle. That seemed to really work well for me. Or a shotgun for some newbies. But I wouldn't suggest Gambit for that. I would suggest, I believe it's Momentum. Yes, not Momentum, just Momentum. That is available this week, and that is sort of a one-shot kill. I believe there is a scout rifle. Is it the Jade Rabbit that has solar on it? I could be wrong, but I would just use any sort of long-range, one-shot solar scout rifle or secondary weapon, or primary weapon, excuse me. And then complete 10 Gambit matches. Now for this, you can do Gambit Prime. You don't have to go for orbs. Gambit Prime counts for the completions, and Gambit Prime is a lot quicker. So I would suggest staying with Gambit Prime, and for the solar, that might be one of the longest parts of this for some people, at least people who don't play a lot of Crucible. For strikes, you have to collect 300 solar orbs, and playlist 600 kills with subclass matching Solstice burn. So you have to get 600 kills in strikes while using the daily and elemental burn, which will be listed on your player loadout screen, right where you get the well-rested buff or any other passive buffs that you have going on. For patrols, you have to complete 5 patrols on Titan, and you have to complete 10 heroic public events. Now this is really important because right now the control public event is on Titan, so you can double up here. Go do patrols on Titan, pick up a patrol, and then go and queue a heroic public contact event. I know they're a little bit longer. Some people will say heroic public events on the contact heroic public event is a little bit longer than just doing normal heroic public events, and I agree. But in this case, you can double up while you're there, and if you use the node input glitch or the ball input glitch, which I've talked about many times, but it just involves when you get the giant glowing orb from like the passive roaming boss in the contact public event, you can dunk that orb many, many times, and it really just quickens the whole pace of the event up to the point where it isn't that much slower. And when you're doubling up on the patrols, you're going to get all your patrols done, and you might have to do one more heroic public event. And I don't say concentrate on the control public events, though you might be going for your means to an end quest for the week, but concentrate on the patrols and just queue one up and let it happen passively. And if you want to involve yourself, just use the double node glitch, which just means inputting the ball and swapping weapons while you're inputting the orb. So if you're on a controller, you would hold X and then swap weapons, whatever your swap weapon button is. And it drops the orb, and you can pick it up again and input it again, and you can just spam through each phase. So keep that in mind. That really made that whole thing a lot quicker for me. And then, of course, if you have a few left, once you've completed all your patrols, I would suggest just go to Earth or any other place that has a lot of public events going on that people are going to be running a ton of. And you can double dip on those, and you'll probably be done within 1 or 2. Usually, I had almost 7 done by the time I was done with my patrols, and then I went to Earth, and I was done within 2 minutes. For the European aerial zone, you have to defeat 200 enemies and collect 200 elemental orbs. It's pretty straightforward. Just any element will do. Use the elemental burn for the day, whatever it is, to get that added buff. Those are really the sort of grindy sections of this whole quest. There are a few places where there really isn't anything to pick up. And then for all, you have to collect 2,000 elemental final blows. That is going to take a long time, and I have a really good way of doing that. 100 ability kills. You have to collect 1,000 elemental orbs matching your subclass. And you have to kill 300 kills with void weapons, defeat 300 hive with subclass matching Solstice burn for the day, 150 arc super kills, doesn't have to be in PvP, and defeat 20 bosses. Now the 20 bosses you will get by doing all the things previously. So those you pick up fairly easily along the way. You'll even complete most of them in the EAZ. For the 100 arc super kills, this is where I would load up again Wish 4, and if you're on a Warlock, go arc top tree, I believe, and just burn everything as you open the door, die, and repeat. Just reload that door encounter over and over again. And that is going to be the #1 thing you're going to want to do for this whole section. If you have anything left over for the 2,000 elemental final blows, that's what you want to do. Just bring a whole bunch of raid banners, go to Wish 4 in the last Wish raid, and just continually repeat that door. Just kill all the taken thrall that are there over and over again, and that's probably the fastest way to get through this. Or, of course, you could go to the Whisper of the Worm green room and farm that out. But I actually always like the Wish 4 encounter more, just because you can go a lot faster. And in this case, you don't have to wait for your super to charge. You can just, if you don't have, you can use your super and then just bring a lot of raid banners with you. It costs raid banners, of course, but if you bring maybe 25 raid banners with you, you should have this part done in under 40 minutes, which it would take a lot longer otherwise for the 2,000 elemental final blows. For the 100 ability kills, you can also get that done there. Collect the 1,000 elemental orbs matching your subclass, you'll also get that done there. The 300 kills with void weapons, you can also get that done there. Of course, I would do this last. Do everything else first, and then whatever you have left, then go and finish it off, and the Wish 4. And defeat 300 hive with a subclass matching the Solstice burn. That you can't do there. For that, I would go do Escalation Protocol on Mars, or just go to Mars in general, and there's a bunch of, there's one in particular, I can't remember the name of the Lost Sector, but there's one Lost Sector that you can farm out a lot of hive in, and that's essentially the best way to do that. Just go to Mars. For the 150 arc super kills, again, it doesn't have to be in PvP, so you will get that done at the same time if you haven't gotten it done already as you're doing the 200 or 2,000 elemental final blows. And then defeat 20 bosses again, you'll have that all done. So that's going to be the fastest way to get through all of that. And right now, because I didn't do it on the other two classes, I just want to show you quickly the basic for the Titan. And again, I'll leave a link to all of this down below, but this is basically just the set for the Titan. I'll read through it really quick. Defeat 25 Guardians in the Crucible. This is for Renew. Defeat 25 Guardians. Complete 5 matches. Collect 100 Void Orbs. So sort of similar, except that it's Void. Strikes. Complete 5 Playlist Strikes. Collect 100 Solar Orbs. For Patrols, complete 5 Nessus Public Events. Complete 5 Adventures. For European Aerial Zone, complete 1 EAZ run, open 10 Solstice packages, defeat 50 enemies. Defeat 50 enemies with an Arc subclass. And then for all, get 50 Precision Final Blows, defeat 100 Hive, defeat 400, or collect 400 Elemental Orbs, and defeat 50 enemies with Supers. For the Majestic, you're going to need for Crucible or Gambit, defeat 100 Guardians with Arc weapons as a team, and complete 10 Gambit matches. Remember, you can do those in Prime, but in the previous Renewed set, you need to do them in actual Gambit. to collect the orbs, that is, not for the completions. For strikes for the Majestic set, you need to collect 300 Void Orbs and playlist 600 kills with subclass matching Solstice Burn. Patrols, complete 5 patrols on Io, complete 10 heroic public events. European Aerial Zone, defeat 200 enemies, collect 200 elemental orbs, and all you have to collect 2,000 elemental final blows, 100 ability kills, collect 1,000 elemental orbs matching your subclass, 300 kills with solar weapons, defeat 300 fallen with subclass matching the Solstice Burn, 100 kills with solar melee, and defeat 20 bosses. You're going to want to wait to do the Titan last. And again, just for the Warlock, this for the magnificent purple set, win 7 Trials of Osiris matches, so you're going to need to wait, obviously, until Trials returns. For the Moon, you have to complete Nightmare Hunts. For Nightfall, you have to complete a Master level Nightfall. For Dungeons on the Moon, you have to complete the Pit of Heresy. And for the Moon in general, you have to defeat 3 Altar of Sorrow final bosses, which can really be completed by 1 full Altar of Sorrow run. And no, I'm not going to talk it out loud. This is, of course, for the Hunter. I'm going to leave that up just for you guys to see. I won't read through it. The reason I wanted to read through the Titan is just because you are going to want to save that one for last. And the reason is because the glitch we are now finally getting to, I know we are quite the ways into this video, but I wanted to go through all that information first. And now, of course, we are on to the glitch. So again, there are unconfirmed reports, but there are multiple reports, mostly thanks to Reddit. And I'm going to show you these 2 reports on Reddit now, and you can take them as you want, but I choose to believe them, and I'm sure that other people will be already making content about this in the near future. You want to take advantage of it now because it might be patched soon. But it's not as of the moment, though Bungie has responded to this, so it is an actual thing. I, of course, don't know the precise method, and I think there is a precise order of how to actually get this to work, but I'm going to tell you everything I know right now. So, based on this Reddit post, which you can now see on your screen, the title of this post is Triple Progression, Solstice of Heroes. I'm just going to read it out for you guys who might just be listening. After finishing the Solstice grind on my Hunter, so this player was on their Hunter, I decided to start the Warlock armor set. After only 3 games of Gambit, I had finished the 5 Gambit matches objective. I think he means match objectives. I assumed this was a glitch to do with having multiple armor sets progressing at once. And then sure enough, when I went over to my Titan and I completed 1 strike, I had 3 out of the 5 completed. No idea if this occurs for anyone or whether this is just a weird occurrence, but nonetheless, it is useful and interesting. So, let's go into the comments. We have a first comment that says, yeah, it's a quality of life change instituted this season. I don't know about that. And then let's just go into how people ask about the actual progress or the process of this. One person asked, did you grab all the renewed armor before starting the grind, or did you finish your Hunter, then go grab the other class armor, etc.? He says, finished Hunter, then grabbed. So then let's go into this second post really fast, because this goes into greater detail. Somebody says, one of my friends mentioned the same thing happening to him. When you say finished, you mean completed the Majestic objectives with only the Magnificent left to go. He says, as in I had all full Magnificent, all glows but the Trials one. He says, okay, so we can go into more. Same thing happened on my second and third character. Everything I complete is counting as double. already done with all 3 characters, blue set because of this, and have no idea how to play anymore, blah blah blah. So this is pretty persuading, or a pretty persuasive argument that this is actually happening. So what I'm going to assume, based on what we read, is that once you have completed your magnificent set on one character, and whichever one that is, I would suggest it either be the Hunter or the Warlock, because the Titan apparently won't have certain access. Their process is a little bit different, and it might take a little bit longer on the Titan anyway. But once you have completed your magnificent set, you can then go pick up your renewed set, and apparently you will get a whole bunch of auto completes for all that armor. Tell me in the comments if you've come across this, if this works. I had picked up everything all at once, so I don't know if this has actually worked. I have yet to see it work on my character, but again, I might have screwed up the process somewhere along the line. So just complete one character and then go and pick up the armor for another character and see if you get some auto completes. Pick up the armor for both characters maybe. Again, I have not heard a clear method defined in exactly how to do this, but apparently it is happening. Apparently Bungie knows about it, and apparently you can do it too. And you can do it now before it's patched and save yourself a lot of grind and a lot of explanation needed for this video, as it's now going on almost 30 minutes. But that is going to be it for all the information for you guys today. Hopefully you can take advantage of this glitch and save yourself a lot of time. But hopefully we were able to help you one way or another in the course of this video as far as information, things you might need to know. Hopefully. Thank you for sticking around with me all the way to the end. And if you're still here, you can leave a hashtag Solstice of Heroes or a hashtag Season of Arrivals or anything else relevant to all the information we've covered. Leave a comment. Love to hear from you guys. Hopefully you get this to work for you. And as always, I am Wilhelm Scream. Of course, we will see you in the next video. Little!